All right, guys, welcome back. And in the previous video, we set up our in-game HUD. So if we play in the editor here in the upper right, there is our in-game HUD. So it displays our timer, displays the goals for us to try to beat, as well as the lap and our best time, etc. So we've set up our in-game HUD inside of UMG. We're going to continue inside of UMG in this video, and we're going to create the splash screen that appears when we start the race, as well as set up some functionality to enable the player to press a button to actually start the race rather than having the race just start automatically. So when we play in the editor right now, timer automatically starts, the race begins. We want to have a countdown and let the player know, let them get ready before the race gets started. So we're going to create that as well in this video. So let's first get started by creating our splash screen, which is going to be pretty simple actually. Let's go down to the content browser and let's go into our UI folder and let's open up our HUD widget blueprint. And there is our HUD that we're currently using. We are actually going to duplicate this and make some modifications to it because a lot of the information is still going to be the same. So let's go ahead and select our game HUD here. So I'm going to select it, hit Control C, select our canvas panel now, and hit Control V to paste it so we get another copy. I'm going to select the second copy and hit F2. We're going to call this Splash Screen, like so. We can actually go up to our game HUD now and hit this eye icon here to hide it so we no longer see it, because we're only worried about the splash screen right now. Now, with the splash screen selected, we don't want to anchor it to the upper right. What we actually want to do is go to the anchors, and we want to set it to fill screen, actually. That's the one that we want. So go ahead and select this. That will set it to fill the screen. And what we're going to do next, actually, with our splash screen still selected, let's go down to the render transform and let's zero out that shear that we added. So we're going to make this 0 so it is just a flat screen like so. Then going to take this widget down here and just kind of drag it out, kind of stretch it out a little bit, something like that, like so. And with all of that selected, what we need to do next is for our, let's expand this a little bit. Let's go down to this and this. And we're going to go to our horizontal box first of all. And we're going to keep this actually. Let's rename this. Let's set this to F2. We're going to call this the splash gold time. And let's name the second one just so we know what they are. Splash silver time. Select this one. Splash bronze time. The your time, actually, the player's time, is going to be something different. So we're going to actually call this, let's F2 this, and call this best overall time, like so. And for the lap, we're going to delete this, actually. We're not going to have lap information, so I'm going to hit delete that. And the best overall time, let's actually delete this because we're going to have a separate section for this. So let's go ahead and select the best overall time now. I'm going to hit Control C and then select our vertical box and hit Control V so that we get a second. So this is the best overall time. This one's going to be the best lap time. So let's hit F2 on it, call it best lap time, like so. So we have all of those. There's a couple other things that we want to add. So we're going to go up to the common section of our palette. We're going to grab a text block. We're going to drag that and place that just above the splash gold time. So we're going to drag it right in between like so. It's going to add a text block up there. We're going to select that text block. We're going to hit Control C, and then we're going to hit Control V twice while selected the vertical box. So 1 and 2. And these are going to be used for the name of the map. This is going to be the information to let the player know what they got to press to actually start the race. And then this is going to be a little bit of a tooltip to let the player know that they can press a button to reset the best times for the race. So let's actually do that. Let's call this F2 and say name of map. Let's select this text block, hit F2 and say click to start. And let's select this one and hit F2 and say reset times, just so we know what they are. So let's go ahead and select the name of the map one here. And over in the details panel, let's rename this. Again, this is going to be a property that is bound. So for right now, we're just going to call it the loopd loop map, like so. We can actually click the drop down now for the binding. As we did in the previous video, go to that controller reference, and there is the name of the map property that will get populated to this variable or pushed to this variable. So go ahead and select that, like so. And let's go down to the first text box here, the click to start. And all we're going to say for this is left click to start race, exclamation point, like so. And the text box below that, let's select that, and we're going to put this in parentheses because it's a little bit smaller. We're going to say press R to reset best times. So now we do need to kind of make some modifications to this to kind of make it a little bit cleaner. So let's go ahead and do that. First and foremost, let's select all of these text blocks here. Let's see if we can do this. Hold Control and select them all, and let's justification to the center, like so. Now let's make some modifications to their size. So for all of these, we're going to fill. So go ahead and make sure that these are still selected and hit fill. It's going to stretch everything out for us a little bit. And we're going to make some more adjustments to these now. So let's go ahead and select the first one, the name of the map here. And what we want to do for this, actually, horizontal alignment, center, vertical alignment, center, like so. That'll push it down a little bit. We do want to change the size of this significantly, so let's bump this up. Font settings, I'm going to change this to say 56, so it's way more prominent, like so. While we're at it, all of our text on the screen should be increased a little bit more than our HUD, so I'm going to select or hold Control and select each of these. Can I do it here? No. Let's do it in the hierarchy. So let's select all of our times here, so our text here, so our gold, our silver, and our bronze. Let's select all of those. Let's bump those up to say 32. This is a little bit bigger. I think that's good. We're going to bump up these two values here, so let's go and do those separately actually. And these are just values I'm playing with here. Feel free to change these to whatever you'd like. This one is actually going to say best overall time, so best overall time. Like so. And we're going to set this way up. We're going to set this to say 56. We're going to set this to 56 as well. And we do need to justify that to the center. Like so. Going to do the same thing for this one here. Going to select that and say best lap time. So, going to bump that up to 56. And got to recenter that now. And let's bump this up to 56 as well. And then finally we have these two options down here. So this one here is left click to erase. Let's bump that up to 56 as well so it's consistent with the other ones. And we also want to center that one as well so it's not right on top like that. And I think this one is good. We'll make this one 30 like these up here. So let's go ahead and make this 30. So that is our splash screen. That's what we have for our splash screen. We do need to go back and bind these properties now. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's select this here. Fortunately, this is going to be very easy. Let's go ahead and set this to gold time. Select this here. Go to the details panel, click the drop down, set this to silver. Set this here. Go over to the details, drop down, and bronze. Best overall time. Like so. So it's best time text. And the best lap time, click the drop down, one more, best lap time. So with all of that, our splash screen is completed. Let's compile and save. And there's going to be some things that we need to do. However, we don't want this to always be visible. Currently, our splash screen and our in-game HUD are currently both visible at the same time, which we're probably not going to want. We're going to want to have one or the other. So let's select our splash screen here. This one we're going to want to have visible by default when we start our race. So if we look over in the details panel, there's an option for visibility and it's currently set to visible, which is fine. If we look at our game HUD, look in the details panel, the behavior, this is also set to visible. Even though we're hiding it right now, it would still display in game if we were to play in game right now, which is probably not what we want. But if you look directly next to that, there's another option called bind. And this bind option we can use to drive a property that will turn this on and off that we can call through script. So to do that, we're going to need to create those properties, though. As we have not done that inside of the player controller blueprint, we're going to do that inside of the graph in this blueprint. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's hop over to the graph. And on the graph, we're going to have to create some variables inside of our HUD here. So let's go ahead and go to the My Blueprint panel. It's going to be identical to what we've done before. Let's go to the variable section and add a variable. And this first variable is going to be called GameHUD_visible, like so. The variable type, we're going to go down to the variable type in the details panel, click the drop down. Variable type that we are looking for, I guess we could suppose we could search for visible or visibility, and as we start typing all the way down at the bottom, there's an option called eSlate Visibility. If you go ahead and select this, and if we compile, so go ahead and compile, down in the details panel now, we can now get that same option where we can set it to visible or hidden. So by default, our game HUD is going to be hidden by default. So I'm going to set that to hidden. Going to compile again. Come back over to the designer tab now. Make sure that my game HUD is selected. Over in the details panel, go to that visibility section. Click this drop down, and there is a property called GameHUD_visible that we just created. Go ahead and select that. Now, whenever we change this variable through script, the HUD will correspond to whatever setting is set to that variable. So let's go ahead and go back to the graph because we need to create a couple more variables because we're going to need to drive when our splash screen is shown. We're also going to create a quick countdown timer so we can see that as well as some other properties that we'll create that we're going to use to drive through our HUD as well. So let's select our GameHUD_visible variable here. Going to hit Control W. Going to name this next one here Splash Screen Visible. So Splash Screen Visible. Going to hit Control W again, and we're going to call this Countdown Visible. This is going to be the countdown timer that appears after we start the race before we actually begin playing. So Countdown Visible. And then we're going to create 3 more. So let's go ahead and hit Control W, with the first one being called Gold Time Visible. So we're going to turn on and off the display of our gold time text and value. We're going to drive our gold, silver, and bronze through variables so we can turn those off if the player can no longer achieve those variables or those values. So let's go ahead and hit Control W 2 more times, create 2 more variables, name one of them by selecting them and hitting F2. Name one of them Silver Time Visible. And name the last one Bronze Time Visible. So F2. So go ahead and compile. And by default, these variables should be set to, well, we copied our game HUD, so they're all set to hidden now. Dang it. So we're going to have to set them all to, some of them to visible by default. So our splash screen, we're going to have to set that to visible. And our countdown, we do want that to be hidden by default because we're going to turn that on through script. And obviously our gold time and silver time and bronze, we're going to want those to be visible by default. So go ahead and make those visible. Probably should have just created separate variables for these instead of duplicating them. But that's all we had to do. So our gold, silver, and bronze are all set to visible. Our countdown is set to hidden. Our splash screen is set to visible. And our game HUD is set to hidden. So with all of those, go ahead and compile and save. Let's hop back to the designer and bind those properties now. So our splash screen, go ahead and select that. Go to the visible section, click the drop down for binding. There's all of our properties. We're binding that to splash screen visible. Like so. Go to your game HUD, expand that. Select our gold time now. There's a visibility setting. Go ahead and click the drop down and, or not the drop down, but the bind. Bind that to gold time. So do the same thing for silver. So go ahead and do silver. And do the same thing for bronze. So each of those are now bound to those properties. Now there's one more that we created. We created a countdown visible. We need to create that splash screen really quickly. Or not splash screen, but that countdown screen really quickly. It's going to be very, very quick and easy. So let's take our splash screen here. Let's just hit Control C and select our canvas and hit Control V. And then let's go ahead and hide our splash screen and hide our game HUD so that all we have is that copied one we just created. I'm going to hit F2 on it and say this is the countdown screen. So I'm going to expand it and expand the vertical box. All we're going to keep is, let's see, let's find it. We're going to keep this vertical box here. So not the bottom vertical box, but this one here. Let's just keep this one. And we're going to hit F2 on it. And we're going to call this countdown box, like so. And we can delete everything else inside of this vertical box. So let's make sure we get everything lined up. So we're going to delete this. We're going to delete this text. Going to delete that. Going to delete this. Going to delete this. Going to delete this and this. So that all we have is this countdown box here. And we're going to make some changes to this. We're going to go to the vertical alignment, make sure that it's in the center. We're going to set it to fill, etc. We're actually going to change the size of this as well because we don't want it to fill our entire screen. So let's go ahead and select our countdown screen here. Over in the details panel, let's make sure that we click our anchor. We don't want it to fill our entire screen. All we want it to do is be anchored to the center of our screen. So we're going to select this here. So it anchors it right to the center of our screen. So we're then going to resize this so that it is something like this. And then we're going to move it to the center like so. And then what we're going to do is make some modifications to this. Let's go ahead and change the overall time here. We're going to change that text. We're going to say, let's say race begins in space colon. I guess we don't need that. You do it like this. Race begins in, or race, yeah, that's fine. Let's leave it like this. Race begins in, and then we're going to enter single digit values for these. So we could say 3, so it'd be like 3, 2, 1, and then we'll update this text a little bit later. And we're going to do that actually through, now that we have this selected, the details panel, click this drop down for bind. Next to controller reference, we have that ready text variable that we created. Go ahead and assign it to that. And then the last thing that we're going to do, just for styling purposes, we're going to select the countdown box as a whole here, the countdown screen border. Go down to the details panel. Let's share this just so it looks a little bit more stylized, something like this. So let's set it to point or -15 like the other that we have. So something like that. I think that looks good. And with our countdown still selected, let's go to the visibility for the behavior. And let's go to the bind. And let's bind it to countdown visible. So let's go ahead and compile and save. And our HUD setup is done. We've set up the splash screen. We've set up the countdown timer screen. And we've also set up our in-game HUD. Now, we're not completely done in here. We're going to come back to this a little bit later where we start working on our animation. And we're also going to add some fly-in text for when the player beats a new level, which we'll do a little bit later. But for right now, let's go ahead and continue setting up our splash screen and countdown screens. So let's close the HUD. And let's go back to the Blueprints folder. So we're in the Blueprints folder. Let's go into My Player Controller. So go ahead and go into My Player Controller. And we're going to go to the event graph now. So go ahead and go to the event graph. And what we need to do now actually is provide a way for the player to left click and start the race. So let's go ahead and set that up before we do anything else here. Let me get my notes together. So let's go ahead. We're going to scroll down somewhere in the graph here. We can actually, our debug only script, let's go ahead and delete that now. We no longer need this since we have our HUD working. So I'm going to delete that. And below our reset to default best times, I'm going to right click and search for a left mouse button. So left mouse button event. So when left mouse button is pressed, that's what we're going to use to signify the start of the race. Now we only want to do this once when the game begins, allowing the player to press the left mouse button to start the race. We're only going to do this once. We're going to drag off of pressed, and we're going to search for do once. So only do whatever is connected to this node one time. So what we need to do now is go to our My Blueprint panel. We need to grab our HUD reference variable that we created a while back. Let's hold Control, drag that into the graph. And we are going to now drag off of our HUD reference and set some of those variables that we have created for our HUD. So if we drag off of this and we say set splash screen, there's that eSlate visibility variable. Let's go ahead and select that. So what we want to do, what we are saying, by default, the splash screen is visible. When we press the left mouse button, we're then going to set it to hidden. So we no longer see our splash screen. Let's go ahead and connect this like so. And then we want to display our countdown timer. So go ahead and drag off of the HUD reference again and say set countdown. So countdown visible. So go ahead and select that. And it is going to be visible. So we can leave it as it is. So visible. Now the next thing that we need to do actually is count down. So actually changing the property that we set for the text there, our ready text. So if we go to our text variables, so we have, let's see, where is it? There it is. We need to actually change this value because it's being driven inside of our HUD to display the text that we want here. And we're going to do this kind of a quick and dirty way. So I'm just going to hold Alt and drag that into the graph somewhere over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag off the set here. We're going to add a delay node like so. And we're going to say that the delay is 2.5 seconds. After 2.5 seconds, we are going to set the text to equal 2. So by default, it's going to start out on 3. Let's make sure that we set that to 3 for our ready text. So go to the My Blueprint panel and the ready text default value. Go ahead and set that to 3 just in case. So it will start out at 3. Then when we call this script, it will delay 2.5 seconds, and then we'll change it to 2. Then let's hit our delay here, Control-C, Control-V, paste it, connect it up like so. Then we're going to say after 1 second, take our ready text, Control-C and Control-V, and set it to 1, like so. And then select our delay, Control-V, connect it up. After another 1 second, we're going to set our ready text, Control-V. We're then going to set it to say go, like so. Now, the reason we're using 2.5 here instead of a different value instead of 1 like the others, we are going to get to the state where we start animating things, and we're going to have our animation of our the countdown timer kind of fade in over time. So that's also going to contribute to the time that we are going to wait before we start displaying our ready text. So that's why we set it up like that for now. You'll see why once we get to animating it a little bit later. And just for the sake of it, so it's not immediately the race starts after the go text appears, we're going to add one more delay of a second following go before we actually take our HUD reference here, Control-C and Control-V, before we actually set the countdown widget to hidden. So we're going to set countdown visible, the variable. We're now going to set it to hidden. So let's connect that up. So, and once we've set that to hidden, then we're going to drag off of this one more time and say set game HUD. So we're now going to turn our game HUD on through this property. We're going to set it to visible. So, and then the last thing that we need to do is say that the race has started. So over in the My Blueprint panel, let's take our race start, hold Alt, and drag that into the graph. So we are now saying the race has started. And then we're going to call our start race timer and start lap timer functions. So let's go all the way back up here and let's grab our, where is it? Oh, you know what? They're not functions, they're custom events. So let's actually right click on the graph and just search for start race timer, race time, like so. Right click, start lap time. So we have both of those. Let's connect those up. And that's what we're going to do for our left click to start. So it's a little bit wonky. I guess I could put that in a function. So when we left click to start, it will turn off our splash screen, turn on our countdown timer. Our countdown will begin. Then it will turn off the countdown timer, turn on the game HUD, start the race, start both timers for our race and our lap. And that is all we need to do for our left click to start. So I'm going to add a comment around this. Say left click to start race. So just left click to start race. Now what we were doing way at the top up here by event begin play, just for the purposes of testing, whenever we started the game, we were starting our timers. We no longer want to do that, so let's delete these. We are only going to start the timers when the player clicks the left clicks to start the race. So that's it. Let's actually compile and test this. So I'm going to compile and save. And let's go back to the level here. I'm going to turn my sound down a little bit. So if we play here, we should see our splash screen by default. We should be able to press the button to start the race. We should get our countdown timer, which should go away, and then our game HUD should appear. So let's test this. Let's play. And there is our splash screen. I guess I forgot to do that. The alpha on that could probably get bumped up a little bit more, and there's some other things that we need to do, but it is working. There is our HUD, and we can hit the left click, start the race. Race begins in 3, 2, 1, go. And then our HUD comes up, so it's working, but there's some fine tuning that we need to do, especially with the fact that we can still drive around and clear checkpoints while this is up. But we'll fix that in the next video as we start to polish up. We are almost done. I think we have maybe 1 or 2 more videos left, and we should be done with this series. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.